Nobody is talking about this with the Edmonton Oilers as they narrowly squeak out yet another overtime win in the Midwest last night over the Chicago Blackhawks. All that and more today on Oilers Digest as we recap last night's game and look forward to what's ahead for the Edmonton Oilers before the Four Nations face-off. All that and more. But if you haven't subscribed already, make sure you subscribe here to the channel. We are currently 24 subscribers away from 2,700, on the way to 3,000. So if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button for any and all Oiler news. Oilers Digest is the place to be. But without further ado, Winded City. Yes, the Edmonton Oilers were quite literally sick and tired as they completed the second half of a back-to-back. Last night they were, or 2 nights ago, they were in St. Louis, and last night they were in Chicago. And yet again, it took extra time for the Oilers to get the W. They got the W nonetheless, but 4-3 in overtime over the second last place, the 31st place Chicago Blackhawks. Just taking a look at the scoring summary here. No scoring in the first period, although there was a very, very nice Jeff Skinner chance at the doorstep of Arvid Soderblom in the first period, but he wasn't able to get that past the line. But Victor Arvidsson opens up the scoring after hearing everybody call him out for not doing anything. Victor Arvidsson picks the corner clean of Soderblom, making it 1-0 Oilers, and it was almost 1-0 Oilers going into the second intermission before Kasperi Kapanen lets Lukas Reichel go in behind him, and Reichel tips in a pass from Teuvo Teravainen, making it 1-1 before 40 minutes were up. And then in the third period, Jeff Skinner making his name known to the Edmonton Oilers faithful by getting on the board himself in a very nice pass from Jeff Skinner, leading to the 3-1 Edmonton goal. Very nice defensive play that Skinner made. We'll get into that in just a little bit. And then the Oilers letting their foot off the gas yet again, of course, letting the Chicago Blackhawks get goals in very quick succession there from Ryan Donato and Alec Martinez. Ryan Donato, again, another tip from Teuvo Teravainen, and of course Alec Martinez, very similar to the Colton Parayko goal the other night, where it was just pretty much he was in all alone and completed a one-timer from Ryan Donato. So the Oilers going into overtime for the second straight game, and they win in overtime for the second straight game from Zach Hyman's 19th goal of the season from Connor McDavid and Evan Bouchard on the power play after the Chicago Blackhawks took a two-men penalty, of course, in overtime. You hardly ever see those, and he was good enough for Zach Hyman to get the first start of the game with one goal, going -1 and playing 1906. Leon Draisaitl, I think, should have gotten first start of the game, or even Jeff Skinner with a goal and an assist in almost 22 minutes played, or almost 22 and a half minutes played, and Ryan Donato with the third start of the game. And not to mention Calvin Pickard, pretty solid game, for Calvin Pickard standards. 906 had a few key stops there, especially that 2-0 against the Blackhawks, where I do believe it was Pat Maroon that he stoned at the doorstep there. So Calvin Pickard, just doing backstop or doing backup things. You can't expect the world of him, but you can go in there and expect him to get a very, very solid win. And the Oilers dominating the shot counter here, 38-32 in favor of the Oilers. But again, the Oilers, you could tell they were fighting it all night, not just the puck, but every single thing on the ice. You wondered, how do they get the win? But they're the Oilers. They remembered that they are the Edmonton Oilers, and they got the win, going 1-for-4 on the man advantage. But going 0-for-3 in regulation time, it looked like again they were playing on the power play for the very first time together. So the Oilers, you take the 2 points and you run out of the United Center back home. Just looking at the natural stat trick, the analytics here, of course, Kasperi Kapanen had a bit of a rough first period there, but, analytically, they thought he was the best. Mattias Ekholm, again, I thought, still recovering from his illness, and just further on down there, you can see, again, the star players for the Oilers, again, letting the Blackhawks, I don't want to say run around all night on them, but you could tell the Hawks did have the edge at many points of the hockey. But good teams find ways to win, and that's exactly what the Oilers did. And Leon Draisaitl, like I said, that is the power of German engineering, taking over the NHL, scoring lead with 81 points over Nathan MacKinnon with 80, who the Oilers will see tomorrow night at Rogers Place. So, Hart Trophy candidates facing off against each other in Edmonton. Of course, Leon Draisaitl from Jackie Redmond here, 38 goals, first in the NHL, 81 points, first for now anyways in the NHL. Even strength goals, he's first. Even strength points, he's first. Game-winning goals, he's first. In game tying and go-ahead points, he is first. Has scored over 21% of Edmonton's goals first in the NHL. Dude's having a monster year. Of course, monster is quite the understatement here for the Oilers. But let's not talk about Leon Draisaitl. Of course, we could go on and on about him and many of the other Edmonton Oilers last night. I think Brett Kulak had a pretty solid game. John Klingberg still finding his feet in the Oiler lineup. What seems to be in my eyes, he's just a bigger version of Tyson Barrie. And you know what? That's not a very bad thing. Of course, the Oilers do need puck movers on the back end there, of course, going towards, from the middle to the bottom of the hockey stat card chart here. Of course, Ty Emberson normally has, quiet games. Didn't think he had that bad of a game last night, but of course, Matisse Ekholm, you could find, he's still a little bit sick, and it'd be nice if you could, benefit from the rest of the Four Nations face-off. But him and Victor Arvidsson going to represent Team Sweden, which, all in all, not a very bad experience for Matisse Ekholm. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, the one that I think, the national media should be talking about, and that is Jeff Skinner. He's now on the second line with Podkolzin in Draisaitl, and he's talking about his new line mate. Of course, he says he's an easy guy to play with. He wins a lot of battles, makes a lot of great plays. I missed one there in the first. He kind of set me up with a wide open net there. I thought Vasily Podkolzin played great too. He's really disruptive on the forecheck. He makes a lot of plays that go unnoticed. Felt pretty good with those guys, and it's always good for Jeff Skinner to find his footing with this team. Of course, he was always in the doghouse with Kris Knoblauch before Kris Knoblauch sort of, preached the importance of defense on this Oilers team. Of course, Jeff Skinner had the reputation of exactly not playing defense, but you know what? He's been massively improving his 200-foot game under the watchful eye of Kris Knoblauch, and that's fantastic to see for Jeff Skinner. Of course, a confident Skinner is a scary Skinner, as he's 32 years old, but he still has lots to prove, as he's yet to play his first NHL playoff game. And I think he might see that in April. Of course, you can see there the line breakdowns here with Arvidsson, McDavid, and Hyman. Again, pretty solid line. Arvidsson, of course, needed that spark with McDavid and Hyman, but of course, the best line in my eyes last night, of course, was the Skinner, Draisaitl, and Podkolzin line. Of course, what Jeff Skinner, he doesn't do, Podkolzin does, and what Podkolzin doesn't do, Jeff Skinner does well. And of course, you have Leon Draisaitl, the monster in the middle there. Of course, everyone complements each other quite nicely. And even Kris Knoblauch has taken notice of Jeff Skinner. He says, I believe it was the third goal, absolutely a result of his work. He gets the assist on it, but just being in the right place to break up that play to get the puck down. If he's not in the right place defensively, they're probably on a rush against, and we have to defend, but he's able to break that play up, and it leads to a scoring chance. And a little John Madden telestrator here. You can see the puck is in the corner there, and, Jeff Skinner could go into it, and make it three forwards going in for the puck at the same time, which, if that went wrong, could lead to a Chicago odd man rush. But instead, Jeff Skinner decides to backtrack there, and you can see he gets lower, and he eventually picks off that pass, finds Leon Draisaitl, and makes it 3-1 Oilers. So, of course, this might be the moment here, a little bit of an exaggeration, but Scotty Bowman teaching, Steve Yzerman, play defense, and the rest will follow. And I think this might be, Kris Knoblauch's Scotty Bowman moment. So who knows what will happen with Jeff Skinner later on down the road. Of course, this is exactly what the Edmonton Oilers paid for on July 1st for Skinner. And again, like I said, a confident Skinner is a very scary Skinner. Of course, Jeff's been playing really well. His details have been good. He's been checking hard. He's been getting on the forecheck. He's been in the right place defensively. And when it comes to the Oilers, in the style of play last night, of course, very gassed, sick and tired, like I said in the intro. But Kris Knoblauch, he says, you know what, not too much to worry about. We're playing back-to-back, so they had the jump. They were much quicker than we were for most of the night. I thought we had a good push in the first 10 minutes of the third period. Then as soon as we made it 3-1, they came at us and forced us to turn the pucks over a couple of times on the breakouts that led to some scoring chances. It's a long season. It's not fair to think we're going to be 100% every night, but I'm happy we got our 2 points and we'll leave town with them. Of course, the timing of the break for the Four Nations face-off for the Oilers is, take what you can get with this time off. I mean, 2 whole weeks in, the getting towards the twilight of the regular season. Of course, the Oilers do have 3 of their players going to the Four Nations face-off, but it's nice to get guys like, Darnell Nurse, John Klingberg more time off, Leon Draisaitl, Stuart Skinner. The more, the merrier, although it's nice to see the Oilers represented in some international competition. But it's also nice for Kris Knoblauch to sort of, know what exactly, in many separate periods what went wrong for the Oilers and how to fix them. Of course, the Oilers breakouts could be a little better. Of course, you see when the Oilers defense is panicked by 2 forecheckers, you can see things don't exactly go to plan. So hopefully the Oilers can sort of, just be calm in in their own zone on the breakout here, because of course Kris Knoblauch preaches the middle of the zone, or middle of the ice, I should say, for the breakout. And if teams catch on to that, hopefully he can adapt. But I mean, where he's gotten this team so far in the season, third in the entire National Hockey League, and they're only 7 points back of the Winnipeg Jets, who are top of the league. So I mean, the Oilers, they're doing something right with the way they're coaching and playing go hand in hand. Of course, it would always be nice to get, goalie insurance, but who am I to judge? But for the Edmonton Oilers, they still have one more game before the international break in the What's Next segment. What is next for the Edmonton Oilers? Well, like I said, Nathan MacKinnon and the Colorado Avalanche, minus Mikko Rantanen, I should add, take on the Oilers at 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain at Rogers Place. Sucks that it's not a nationally televised game, but that's just the way the NHL TV schedule works. But that is it for today's video. Let me know what you thought of Jeff Skinner last night, or the entire game, and are you excited for the Four Nations face-off? The closer we get to the event, the more buzz I'm starting to hear. Of course, back in the summer and start of the season, everyone thought it was, a Mickey Mouse tournament, only 4 countries. But of course, national pride does take over at some point, and it's very exciting to see. I mean, McDavid in his first, Team Canada jersey since, the World Championships. But I mean, it's not best on best at the World Championships. The last best on best tournament he was at was, I do want to say, the 2015 World Juniors. So folks, it's been quite some time before McDavid saw the best in the international world. But that is it for today's video. Make sure you subscribe here to the channel, and we will be back tomorrow for an Oilers Avalanche preview. Take care. I'm Matt.